Okay, hello, and here we go. So remember, they were just walking through the mountains, and what Roz didn't realise was that she was already being watched. We don't know by who, but I reckon we're going to find out quite soon. Chapter 55: The Attack. Wide mountain meadows made the robot nervous. Whilst hiking through them, she felt exposed and easy to spot. Camouflage helped, but it was hard not to notice a walking clump of wild flowers, especially one accompanied by a goose. And it was in one of those wide meadows that Tribble caught up with our friends. From the corner of her eye, Roz sensed movement. She turned, but only saw tall grass blowing in the breeze. Then a twig snapped. But the sound was swallowed by a distant roll of thunder. It wasn't until the wind changed and a musky scent wafted by the robot understood the danger. "I smell wolves," whispered Roz. Bright Bill's eyes grew big and round, and he whispered back, "What should we do?" Before Roz could reply, two wolves leaped from the bush. They charged towards the robot, snarling and snapping their jaws. Roz heaved her son towards the sky so that he could fly to safety, and then she burst into a sprint. The robot zigged and zagged across the meadow, trying to shake off the wolves, but when she dashed through a patch of soft ground, she slipped and toppled on the grass. The wolves quickly surrounded their prey, heads low, ears drawn back, deep growls rumbling through their teeth. "Remember us, Roz," said the huge male with the scar. "Hello again, Shadow," said the robot, slowly getting to her feet. And I believe your name is Barb." "You have a good memory," said the female wolf. "Actually, I have a perfect memory," said the robot. "And yet you've forgotten your rifle." A toothy smile appeared on Shadow's face. "You aren't so tough now without the rifle, are you?" Barb sniffed the breeze. "Where's your pet goose?" And then she saw Brightbill perched in a lone tree in the middle of the field. "He is not my pet," said Roz. "He is my son." Shadow chuckled. "We've heard the stories about the robot mother and her son, the goose. They're very touching." He turned and barked, "Join us, Brightbill. We'd love to meet you up close." "Stay where you are, son," hollered Roz. "I will take care of them." "You'll take care of us," growled Shadow. "No, Barb and I will take care of you." The robot's computer brain hummed as it tried to make a plan. The wolves were stalking towards her. Any second now, they would attack. Roz had to do something, anything. So she stalled. Shadow, Barb, is just the two. Shadow, Barb, is it just the two of you?" Roz scanned the meadow and saw no other wolves. "Where is the rest of your pack?" Well, that was the wrong question to ask, because the fur on Shadow's back stood up and he snarled, "This is my pack now!" Then the wolves pounced. But Roz wasn't there. With all the strength in her legs, the robot launched herself up and away, and now she was soaring through the air in long, graceful arcs. Once her foot stomped back onto the ground, she launched herself up and away again. With giant arcing strides, the robot bounced across the meadow in the direction of her son. There's the wolves, and there's our arcing robot. At first, the wolves were baffled by the robot's strange escape, but they were expert hunters. They raced after her, studying her closely, watching where she landed, and when Roz made her final leap towards Brightbill's tree, a heavy paw knocked her off the balance. She tumbled through the air and slammed against the trunk. Leaves shook loose, dead branches crashed down, but the robot held tight to the tree. "Are you okay, Ma?" said the goose as he fluttered to his mother's side. "Just some light scrapes," said the robot, and she pulled herself onto a sturdy branch. Below the tree, the wolves were hollering with laughter. Nice try, Roz, said Shadow, but you can't outrun us. Wolves were built for chasing. You are wasting your time, said the robot. You cannot eat me, and you will never catch my son. You still don't get it, Roz, growled the wolf. I'm not hunting for food. I'm hunting for revenge. Chapter 56. The Torch. Our friends were stuck in that tree. They sat in the upper branches, high above the wolves, trying to calculate an escape. Brightbill could fly off anywhere he liked, but Roz had to come down eventually, and when she did, the wolves would be ready. Shadow and Barb stretched out in the shade. They glanced around and licked their fur and sniffed the mountain air. The wolves looked comfortable, and yet there was tension between them. I'm hungry, growled Barb. I want to eat rabbits and deers and maybe go back to farm country and prey on livestock. Anything is better than hunting a creature that can't be eaten. You can eat all the animals you like, said Shadow, after we kill the robot. Barb grumbled with frustration. She didn't understand Shadow's need for revenge, but for now she stayed loyal to her mate. Day turned into night and the wolves started yawning. Barb's eyelids became heavy. Shadow's body became weary, and then the soothing song of the crickets lulled them both to sleep. The sight of the sleeping wolves reminded Roz of those long winter nights on the island when wild animals crawled into her warm home and slept. She remembered the frightened look in their eyes as they saw the fire for the first time. And this gave Roz an idea. Quietly, she broke off a dead branch from the tree trunk. Then she took the lighter from her tool belt and held a flame under the branch's knobbly end until it was blazing. And then she dropped down to the ground. Shadow and Barb snapped awake to find the world bathed in orange light. Towering above them, looking like a demon, was the robot. Her eyes were glowing. Her mouth was roaring. In her hand was a torch. Flame, rippling, embers whirling into the air. The wolves had never seen fire. It was beautiful. And it was terrible. Deep inside, they felt their wolf instincts telling them this ball of swirling light was dangerous. Their instincts told them to run for their lives, and when Roz lunged towards them, they ran. Barb yelped, Shadow whimpered, and the two wolves raced away from the fire just as fast as they could. I'm going to leave it there, so a short one for today, but we think they've escaped the wolves. We'll have to see tomorrow for certain, but for now it looks okay.